Good morning, good morning, good morning. It's a beautiful Friday. I pray y'all having a good day this far. Thank God it's Friday. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Y'all know I'm driving on my way to dialysis, so I just want to come on a few minutes to encourage some of y'all on this Good Friday to let y'all know that it's going to work out. God is still blessing. He is still in the blessing business. Good morning, y'all. I love y'all. If nobody told y'all they love you, I'm telling you this morning, I love you. But anyway, I just want to come on right quick and run this past y'all about separation. Separation is good. Sometimes you have to separate yourself. And it doesn't mean that you don't love people. It doesn't mean that it's a bad thing. It just means that sometimes you have to know your limits. You have to separate yourself from the world just to get a peace of mind, just to get in communication with the Lord. You know, just you and him, a personal thing. Sometimes you just have to back off. You know, love has no limit. It's no limit to how much I love you. Just because I don't talk with you every day, all day. That don't stop. Love don't stop like that. Love has no limit. But sometimes you have to separate yourself. Separation is great. I tell anybody and I tell everybody, you know, sometimes people say that, oh, that's just sometimey. No, it ain't sometimey. It's not. I love you the same. But sometimes I have to back off. I know my limits. I know my limitations. You know, I know what I could take and what I can't take. I know what the enemy know what to tick you off with. The enemy know how to set you off in your weak areas. So if you know that's a stronghold for you in that particular area, back off. Whatever it is. You know, we got some family members. We love them unconditionally, Lord knows. But you know what? Sometimes you got to back off. You got to separate yourself. If you could keep going down that same road and that same path and nothing changing, you gotta back off. If you got friendships with people and they just ain't gonna change, you know, they just gonna be who they are and ain't nothing you can do about it. You know, you love them. You gotta love them. But you don't have to deal with them. You don't have to be with them. You can back off. You can give them their space. You know, sometimes that's what we have to do. Especially if you see somebody in error and you done try to correct them, but they won't listen. You got to back off. You got to back up. I tell anybody, y'all know that, who all know me, that's my favorite word. They always say, well, what happened to you? I said I had to give myself some space. I had to back off. It ain't got nothing to do with you. Well, it do, but it don't. You know, it's my relationship with God and what I follow directions. When I see something going some way that I'm not pleased with, or something in error, or a family member you love them and things just won't get no better, I just limited myself. I back off and go in prayer for them. That's what I do. So you know, so you can call it what you want. You know, sometimey, moody. It ain't got nothing to do with none of that. I love you anyway. Love has no limit. Relationships, you know, if something bad for you, you don't do it again. You don't keep doing it again. If you got a relationship that's toxic and it ain't getting no better, getting worse, you got to back off. You got to back off. You know, you just got to back off. If you in these friendships and like I say, things just toxic and people won't listen, you gotta let them do what they do and let God deal. That's God's business after that. Because some things is you just can't do. It's just too big for you. You know, and even in the churches, they not limited. If you keep trying to make changes and you keep trying to make the church grow and you keep trying to do things and they don't want it. They keep, every time you try to do something, they knock it down. Sometimes you gotta back off. I tell my husband all the time, you know, when you do all these things and people act like they don't appreciate it or they don't want it, back off. Let them let who they think all these things and gonna do all these things, they gonna, they got all these big expectations on these particular people. Let them do it. Back off. I tell him that all the time. He think I be being mean, but he's found out it works. It works. It worked for me, and it's been working. Because when I changed my life, a lot of people limited themselves. They don't invite you to stuff, They don't, they don't invite you to stuff. They don't, you don't get to do things that you used to do. But God sent me other places and do other things that's appropriate for me in my walk. But it's okay. Because some stuff you gotta back. You can't be in everything. You can't participate in everything. You gotta back off. Some things ain't for you. Because a lot of people think because you're a Christian that they don't include you in things anymore. But that's okay, because when it's time to include me, you're gonna need to include me. God gonna make you include me when you need me. People don't need you till they need you. But that's okay, because backing off is great, and it's a good thing. So I just want to tell somebody this morning, if you feel like you're being left out, or you feel like you're being eliminated, or you feel like something just ain't going right, back off. It's good. Take that time that you backed off, or you eliminated, or for whatever reason cast out, or whatever they called it. Take that time to pray. Ask God to show you where you need to be, what you need to be, and how. So when you go back into that situation, you know how to deal with it. You ain't stopped loving them. You ain't cut them off. You just had to give yourself some space and give them some. So I just want to encourage somebody on this morning. Sometimes you got to go in the wilderness. Sometimes you got to go in the wilderness to get a peace of mind. Sometimes you got to go in the wilderness to gather your thoughts back together. To think about some things. Because when you got a lot of noise and a lot of things going on around you, you can't think straight. It just ain't possible. So for somebody who feel like, they going through so much and they just need to get a peace of mind, back up from them people. I don't care who it is, even if it's your children. You know what I mean? If you feel your children ain't doing right, ain't treating you right, like you supposed to be as a parent, you know what I mean? Or whatever. If you feel like they're not doing right by you, back off from them. Give them their space, especially if they're grown. Give them their space. Let them do them. But you be there to love them when God tell you to pick them up. But you have to give people their space. And that's anybody. I don't care. And anybody who know me know I shut down in a minute. But I ain't shutting down. I ain't cutting you off. And I ain't shutting you off. But I'm going in prayer for you. I'm going to God on your behalf. That's what I do. Praying that things will get better. Situations will get better. That the scales will come off your eyes. And even me. Because I don't get it right all the time. And I have to go to God about me. Yeah, I go to God about sweetie. God, if I'm wrong, show me the error of my ways. If I didn't supposed to say this or do this, Lord, I apologize and show me the words to say to this particular person so I can go back and make it right. God do that. We all can get convicted. We all can get convicted if we got God with us. Now, we ain't got no shame and we don't care about nothing and nobody. It don't even matter. Because you in the world, it don't matter. And it ain't nobody judging. It is what it is. You in the world, you ain't going to get no understanding, not nobody like that. But if you got any kind of Christ in you, any kind of love in you, any kind of compassion in you, you can be convicted. The worst of the worst.